This is your 420 Radio News for Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Legal marijuana trend spreads as more states weigh votes from Bloomberg.com. Voter support for legal marijuana in Washington and Colorado is spurring similar campaigns in California and 3 other states that together may bring pot within lawful reach of almost 1 in 5 Americans. Advocates are seeking signatures of registered voters in California, Arizona, Oregon, and Alaska with a combined population of 49 million to put the question on ballots in 2014. Colorado and Washington last year legalized marijuana for 12.1 million people. In California, more than half of residents support legalizing marijuana, according to a poll by the nonpartisan Public Policy Institute of California in San Francisco, 52% of all adults. Counting only likely voters, the figure is 60%. Because California is the largest state by population, the campaign for legalization needs 504,000 signatures by February 24th to qualify. In Alaska, one of the least populated states, just 30,000 signatures are needed before the legislature goes into session in January. 2 pot measures are being circulated for signatures in Oregon, where a referendum to legalize recreational pot use failed last year, 53 to 47%. One measure to legalize marijuana use requires 116,000 signatures to qualify as a constitutional amendment, while a second one, setting up an Oregon Cannabis Commission to regulate its growth and sale, requires 87,000 signatures from registered Oregon voters. Canadian company eyes Kentucky for possible hemp plant from Modesto Bee. A Canadian hemp processor looking to expand operations south of the border sees Kentucky as fertile territory for production and processing, but its top executive said Wednesday that questions about the crop's legality have to be resolved first. Hemp Oil Canada Inc. President and CEO Sean Cruz said the bluegrass state is in the running for a possible plant in the U.S. to process hemp seeds. The company would look to contract with area farmers to supply seeds to the plant, he said. The company, based in a small town south of Winnipeg, is looking at other states, including North Dakota, Minnesota, Colorado, and California, for potential expansion. Doctor convicted for improperly recommending medical marijuana from CBS Local in Denver. The distinction Dr. Joseph Montante now holds is something he does not welcome. He's now convicted of prescribing medical marijuana without conducting a proper exam. Montante's problems started when an undercover officer visited his office in Loveland. He said he wanted to get a medical marijuana card, but he did not have any of the required conditions. Colorado law requires a bona fide doctor-patient relationship, but the undercover officer's visit with Montante only took a matter of minutes. Drug investigators say the doctor's supervision is incredibly important because although 18 to 21-year-olds are not eligible for recreational pot, they are eligible for medical marijuana. Montante was sentenced to 30 days in prison, plus 3 years probation for attempting to influence a public servant. His medical license was suspended as well. Montante claims he was entrapped, saying, quote, "The undercover agent lied to get into my office." Scarsdale Pot Mom throws self at mercy of the court, from the New York Daily News. The Scarsdale Pot Mom has pleaded guilty to running a $1 million marijuana growing operation like the lead character in the Showtime series Weeds. Andrea Sanderlin, age 45, admitted her drug crimes took place from 2009 right up to the time she was arrested in May. Quote, "I operated a facility in which I, together with others, grew at least 1,000 marijuana plants and sold the marijuana product from the plants." End quote, she said. She told the judge she had not consumed any narcotics or alcohol in the past 24 hours and understood the charge she was pleading guilty to carried a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence and a maximum of life in prison. There is an exception to mandatory minimum sentences called a safety valve that could be triggered depending on the defendant having a minor criminal history without violence and a willingness to voluntarily spill everything to prosecutors about the crime. It is unclear whether Sanderlin will qualify for the safety valve or whether she's ratting out her co-conspirators. Sanderlin is free on a $500,000 bail and living with her mother in Manhattan. Inside Silk Road's drug market, U.S. pot and cocaine are cheap, from CNNMoney.com. The last week, the FBI busted the Silk Road website, a massive black market that specialized in the anonymous sale of drugs. But before the feds shut it down, an Australian startup called The Price Geek harvested the data and found that the average weekly cost for a marijuana smoker in Germany would be $40, the United Kingdom $35, the Czech Republic $32, the U.S. $27, and only $20 a week in Canada. This has been your 420 Radio News for Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines and we take a look at the terms of dependence, addiction, and withdrawal with respect to marijuana, according to the new DSM-5 Manual for Psychiatry. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back. Hey, tokers and tokettes, Radical Russ